West Ham play host to Anderlecht on Thursday evening, knowing that top spot in Group B will be all but assured if we can repeat and record the 3 points against them at the London Stadium. I'm joined by Dad, of course. Dad, you watched the game with me last week. Yep. We got the deal done. This is what we said we would do. How important is it us to just go ahead and get this victory and win the group?
I think so. I think we might as well do it now. I mean, we've got the European group in our minds. Let's just get it done. I think after the Fulham game, that's going to give us the confidence and momentum. So let's just go into this game and win it. Get that group out of the way and then concentrate on the Premier League after that.
And it's not putting any kind of disrespect on, if we try and win the group, it doesn't mean that it doesn't, or putting down the opposition that we're playing with the 2 games to go. But if you can qualify after 4 games, and the result could be a draw. We could still qualify tonight as the winners of the group. But the importance of it means that you can kind of, in theory, put to bed the last 2 games, or you can not put to bed, but you can really utilize your squad if need be.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I'm hoping that he puts out a strong squad got a strong team out against Anderlecht. I mean, as we said last time, Anderlecht top brand, but we did play very well against them, and I think we dominated them when we played them. So why not now just go out, clinch it, get it done, finito?
I think that's the valid point now. So we've saw what Anderlecht are capable of doing. We saw them last week. We travelled to Belgium, and when I was watching the game, and when you look back on it as well, I mean, they really were there for the taking, and we had great opportunities to put the game to bed really early. It was just a case of not putting the ball in the back of the net.
The biggest problem we've got, though, is that, I mean, obviously, Anderlecht now going to be coming over to us and looking for something from us. And
they need something.
Yeah, they need something. So we can't underestimate Anderlecht. Not that we did in the first leg either. We can't underestimate them now. So I think, personally speaking, he's got to put out a strong team. I would put out a strong team against them, and then see if we can just clinch that victory, get that group done, and then move on from there.
And the thing is, though, when you put out a strong team in this, the squad is now stronger at West Ham. So when you look at what the starting 11 at the Premier League is in comparison to the Europa Conference League, they're both equally as strong as each other. There's players playing competitively, playing for positions in the team, and we're seeing
the goalkeeper alone. You think of Ariola's performance against Anderlecht,
that save. I mean,
and that save, and then which puts pressure back in a good way back to Fabianski, because they're there, and then Antonio and Scamacca the same. Both of those guys are brilliant strikers, so they're both playing now for each other, but also to make sure they cement their position in the team if they can.
Well, the cool thing about the Antonio and the Scamacca situation is that what we actually saw this week in the last 2 games was Antonio started the game against Anderlecht. Scamacca came on and was the game changer. He won the game for us. And then Scamacca started the game against Fulham. He won the game for us. But Antonio came on and won the game for us and scored. So it works out benefits. We're seeing the benefit of the mixing up the 2 strikers in the squad this year. It's something we've missed for such a long time.
Yeah, we've got it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've saw Anderlecht. I personally thought they're there for the taking. I think they will be there for the taking again. I feel like it's always depending on what West Ham turns up. Obviously, you need to turn up and give a good performance, but sometimes you feel like you're on the back foot. We said it. We watched against Fulham. First 10, 15 minutes, we were talking about it. We sat in the back foot.
No, we did sit back, and they in fact, it worried me how Fulham played against us in the first 20 minutes. They were really very good against us, tagged, scored, and put us under a little bit of pressure. Anderlecht needs something from the game. They need it. They're going to come over here and they're going to go for it. There's no question about it. They will. They have to, just for their own ego, their own whatever. I mean, it's a brand name. They want to do something. And they won, didn't they? They won at the weekend.
Well, they won at the weekend. They won. They were away. So they've hit a little bit of form in their league. They're pushing their way up the table slowly, as our way.
But Europe to them, I think is something that they want even more so than they're going to get in the league. So I think Europe to them is going to be vastly important. So they're going to come over and give us a strong, tough game and try and see if they can get something out of us.
We're also seeing a bit of a transition with West Ham in the style of play. For example, we're seeing West Ham hold possession a lot more in a game in comparison to last year, where you'd always find the opposition teams would have a lot more possession to us. And it looks like Anderlecht are happy for the opposition team to have more possession. If you look at the stats from the game at the weekend that they played, you can see that the team that they played held 61% possession to 39%, and it was the same against Anderlecht on their turf. Now, West Ham of old years, of recent years, have always sometimes struggled to hold the ball, but I don't know if that's due to the ability of some of the players.
It's definitely ability. I mean, if you the players we've got from Rice, if we name just one, the main guy for us, he can hold that ball. We can bring it out from defense. He can attack. He can do all sorts of things. But we've not really had that degree of confidence. And now Paqueta in there as well, having that type of skill that he's got. He's able to hold. He's able to play. He's able to look around. I mean, he's. I mean, that's the reason why we've changed, and that's what we've got in benefits to us now that we didn't have before.
And I think that's something I want to bring up to you now in particular, as you've saw many a successful West Ham team, you've saw many successful West Ham player, and every now and then one crops up these days. You know, I'm going back to Paulo Di Canio, Gillian Dix, you know, even a little bit further back. But let's move further into the modern era. Dimitri Payet, you know, he was a special player. Are we too early? Are we too premature to say this about Paqueta because he's a different player to Dimitri Payet? Of course, the but is he does look phenomenal as a footballer.
I love the fact I've always looked at the Brazilian and Argentinian players, as we've said before, as being tough cookies. They come from a very tough background, i.e. on the pitch, so they get battered right, left, and centre. They should get up and they go again, and I think that's what we've got in the Brazilian player that we've got playing for us just now, Paqueta. And I think that's a brilliant asset for us.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's a game changer. He looks like he's enjoying his time. I mean, he did speak out of the week saying that he's still battling with the language, but that's something got to do. But certainly on the pitch, you think, God, if he's saying I'm not at 100% yet and he's given us what he's given us, then it's really frightening for the other oppositions. But we've got the squad there now. Another player to talk about is Flynn Downs. We spoke about him a lot. Yeah. You know, he's played 2 games, started in Europa Conference League, and given us 2 man of the match performances. He really does hold that midfield really well. And Moyes then spoke out and said, listen, you're giving me something to think about. We saw him come on as a sub against Fulham. I think he's going to get the run out in the game tomorrow, and I think it's good for him to get the run out in the game. I mean, a sign of things to come from the rest of our squad.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we did say that the other day. We feel that he's one for the future, and I think the general feeling is one for the future, which he is. There's no question about that. But when you were talking about Paqueta there, specifically Paqueta, I think we're not overdoing it with him at the moment in time. With Payet, it was slightly different, I suppose, because Payet, I don't know, he had that ability to just, when he stepped up for a free kick, we all were sitting there thinking that's a goal. Paqueta is doing it in a slightly different way, but I love the fact, like you do, with him, is that he's not diving to the floor. He doesn't do that. He gets up, he fights back, and I think we've got one for the future there. But we've got to be careful we don't go, get too worked up about him,
Absolutely. 2 more areas I want to cover. The first one is Benrahma. We spoke a lot about him last week. We're going to speak a little bit about him this week. If he had bagged the goal against Anderlecht last week, we'd have been talking about what an absolutely all-round performance he gave to us last week. He found space. He created opportunities. He literally just could not put the ball in the back of the net. You can't help but feel like he is a confidence player, but you feel like he'll be more than determined to try and put the ball in the back of the net, because it's the sort of player, put the ball in the back of the net and his confidence grows.
But then again, maybe slightly repetitive of what we said the other day, but I mean, I like the fact that he can come on and he can do what he does. I like the fact that he can provide assists, that he can start attacking and he uses his skill that way. It isn't all about putting it in the back of the net. I know we want him to put it in the back of the net. Obviously we do. But it isn't just about that. It's his work rate when he comes on and his skill that he shows and how he gets himself into positions to provide an assist is great. However, I agree with you. Perhaps get his football boots, his shooting boots on a little bit more. That's all. But I mean, he's close. He's close to scoring, but he's doing everything else. He's doing everything else on the pitch.
Got to give him credit where credit's due. Finally, I want to talk about defence. Craig Dawson has stepped into the team. He's been an unbelievable brick wall back there. And there's no coincidence, Dad, that since he's come back into the team, West Ham have shut up shop a little bit at the back of the defence. You know, we're not really conceding a lot, and also we're winning games. The concern you could say is that reliability, relying on him all the time and week in and week out, especially when we've got such a busy schedule. Would that be a concern? Because tomorrow night I can see him playing again in the team.
No, I think he's been a stalwart for us in the back. I mean, against some degree of criticism that he's had, but not really from us. We haven't really been criticised. We've been supporting him all the way down the line. I like Craig Dawson. I think he's good. You saw the way in the Fulham game, how they had to do literally an American style NFL tackle on him to even keep him out of the box. I'd be absolutely scared. As soon as he was coming forward, he goes into the box. They're all frightened of him going in there and getting the ball in the back of the net. And all they did was then did an NFL rush.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. There you go. We've just had a little bit of a chin wag. You know, the game's there for the taking. Get the victory. Top spot's up for Grags. Let's go and get this top spot. Let's concentrate in the Premier League and then move on into the knockout stages after the World Cup comes in. On that note, Thursday night on the telly, we'll be coming to you with a match day live. Now, Dad, what's your predictions for the game?
Well, I think if he goes for that, if he goes for the European side of things and he wants to get that clinched up there, I think we could win. Personally speaking, I think we could win by a clear 2 goals. So I would say either 2-0 or 3-1.
3-1. Excellent. I like that. Get your predictions in now. Let us know your thoughts on the game against Anderlecht. Dad, final words.
Well, I think we should be extremely happy as supporters at this moment in time with the acquisitions that we've got. The fact that they are now in all people's views embedded. They have done their embedment and they're now showing their class. Scamacca, Paqueta, they're showing class. Then the young guy Downs coming on as well. So we've got everything to be happy about. Yeah. Surely to God, we must be happy now.
Absolutely. There you go. There's the final words from Dad. He'll be back again in time for the next Premier League preview. If you are new around here, please hit the subscribe button. Of course, we're on the march towards 20,000 subscribers. So if you do click that subscribe button, it will go from red, as you can see here, to grey when you click on it. Hit the bell notification. That will notify you when our shows do go live. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, you can also click on the membership option. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay safe, everyone. And of course, get behind West Ham. Come on, you Irons.
It's like a family tree.